Hello everyone, I welcome you all to Small Talk with the Etsy Collective Season 2. We really missed having these sessions and seeing you every Saturday, but we're so glad to be back with more sessions around crafts, creativity, and community. And on behalf of everyone from the team, I would like to thank you for supporting the first season of Small Talk with the Etsy Collective. Your love and enthusiasm is what keeps us going. This year, we aim to bring more inspirational speakers, thought leaders, and some phenomenal conversations along with our in-house team of Etsy experts who will guide you through opening and setting up your Etsy shop. I'd like to introduce you to the team behind the sessions. Sunanda Krishna, she is the PR and marketing lead for Etsy in India. Etsy Collective has been her passion project and something she never gets tired of speaking about. She's been a constant support in making this event a success. We welcome you. Followed by Anushka from Etsy Seller Growth Team. Today, she will assist in answering your questions related to setting up your Etsy shop. Her team has helped hundreds of sellers in making their Etsy business up for success. And finally, I'm Radhika Agrawal from the marketing team, and I'll be your host this evening. Now, I'd like to introduce you to the speaker for today, our in-house mega Etsy expert, Aradhna, who will walk you through the topic of how to add product listings to your Etsy shop. Aradhna is the seller growth lead for Etsy in India and the perfect person to help you guide you through this process. We really look forward to having this conversation with you, Aradhna. And finally, and some agenda for today. First, we'll have some information about what is Etsy, who we are, and what we do. And then the process of adding product listings. And finally, a Q&A segment, which is all about answering your questions, which you can type down in the chat box. So make sure all throughout this presentation, which Aradhna will be showing later, you can keep putting down your questions and we'll be taking up those questions in this segment. So what is Etsy? Etsy is a global marketplace for unique and handcrafted products. We provide creative entrepreneurs with a platform to showcase their products to more than 80 countries in the world. We're the only marketplace that focuses on creative entrepreneurs and help the community of sellers turn their ideas into successful businesses. Our platform connects our sellers with buyers looking for an alternative for something special with a human touch for those moments that deserve imagination. We connect with millions of buyers and sellers from nearly every country in the world. Currently, we have 3.7 million active sellers all over the world, selling more than 85 million products to more than 80 million active buyers. In the time when automation is increasing so much, our mission is to keep the human connection at the heart of commerce. That's why we've built a community that lives and thrives because it is empowered by people like yourselves. A little about Etsy's green footprint. In 2019, Etsy became the first e-commerce marketplace to offset 100% of its carbon emissions from shipping. For every item shipped in our marketplace, Etsy automatically invests in an environmental project to offset these emissions. Since 2019, we've offset over 173,000 metric tons of CO2, which is equivalent to 20,000 homes' energy use for a year or charging 22 billion smartphones. It's not just us as a company who feels responsible to account for our carbon footprint. 90% of buyers say that environmental sustainability is very important to them. There are three major categories of goods that can be sold on Etsy. First up being handmade category. As the name suggests, anything that you make or design on your own comes under this category. And this is the biggest category of sale on Etsy. Next up is vintage category, which is very unique to Etsy. Any item which is 20 years old or older in its product age comes under this category. And finally, craft supplies, anything that can be used to make something new. For instance, materials like fabrics, buttons, trims, components, all of these can be used to complete a product, comes under this category. And this is the only category we allow bulk sales in. Lastly, I want to share some trivia that shows Etsy is built to encourage entrepreneurship. You might find it interesting that 97% of our sellers work out of their homes. 53% of total sellers sold their first goods on Etsy. 81% of sellers are also women here, and 90% of sellers are businesses of one. There's a reason why entrepreneurs pick Etsy is because we believe entrepreneurship begins with you. That's why we think all the decisions regarding setting up your Etsy shop should be set by you, starting from the price of the product you want to charge to product policies, shop policies, return, refunds, everything. We also have a lot of seller services tools to help you start, manage, and grow your business. Our company was founded back in 2005, and our headquarters is in Brooklyn, New York. We started our corporate office in India in 2019, and since then, we've tried to engage with the creative community of India, and Etsy Collective as an event was a result of this objective. And we've also completed 100 of these sessions of Etsy Collective, and these are all the places we've done our offline sessions in. Before we start off this particular session, we have a very short video to show you where one of our very successful Etsy sellers are sharing steps to open your Etsy shop in the most simplest way. So I'll be sharing that.
Hi, I'm Ruchi. I'm an NID graduate based in Lucknow, and my shop on Etsy is called Comfy Mommy. I make maternity wear for new mommies. When I started back in 2013, it took me a while to get around it. But once you do, it's your own business. So you want to spend time on it every day and learn something new. Starting on Etsy is very simple. I'll show you how. So you go to www.etsy.com and add your details. Click on register and you're in. Choose your preferred language, country, currency, and most importantly, choose the type of creator you are. Are you a hobbyist, a part-time creator, or a full-time maker like me? And what will set you apart is your shop name. Comfy Mommy is not just a name for me, it's a feeling. That's how I wanted to feel when I was expecting. Add listings which are products that you make, like I'm adding this robe, maternity set. So first thing we're going to put the pictures. Next is the title. Title has to be concise so that the buyers know what your product is in the fewest words possible. The category, of course, you choose the right category for the product that you have. For me, it's clothing, women's clothing. So description is where you can describe your product and so buyers can understand the different aspects of the item that you're making. So everything that's marked with an asterisk is important. Category, description. The reason is that on Etsy people are coming for something unique and they want to get as many details of your products as possible. Categorizing is one such place which gives my customers a broad idea of what all I make. I didn't always start with robes. I experimented a lot. Categories and tags were very useful in making my products discoverable. Next is pricing. I make sure I add all the expenses before deciding on the price of my garment. And don't forget about the time that you give in. It takes some R&D before you decide which shipping option works for you. And you'll be surprised that an inquiry about a robe can sometimes lead to a new product idea. Finally, choose how you want to be paid. Is it still rolling? Are we done? Really? See, it wasn't so tough, right? Oh yeah, don't forget to confirm your account. Now my mommy duties call.
Hope you like this short video of opening an Etsy shop. Now I'll hand it over to Aradhna, who will help you guide through adding listings to your Etsy shop. Over to you, Aradhna.
Hi, everyone. So great to be here. Thank you, Radhika and Sunanda, for bringing me on. So we're just going to start off with our Shop Talk series. We decided to start off with Shop Talk series this year because we wanted to make sure that our potential and existing sellers have the support they need to start selling online, start their Etsy business, and then also make it successful. The previous session, the first session we had, was about how to open an Etsy shop. And if any of you missed it, there is a live recording up on Facebook, which you can check out after this session. Today, we're going to be talking about adding a listing, but future sessions will also include tips on photography. How do you price your product in the right manner? How do you take care of taxes? What's the way to get found on search? How do you use marketing for your Etsy shop? How do you use cross-platform marketing? How can you use promotions, coupons? So all sorts of things are in store. Keep looking out for our next sessions as well. Moving on to today's session, which is how to add a listing. So as you know, the product is the star of your shop. And before you start selling on your shop, you need to do a few online. So as you can see here, there is a small checklist of items we have here. This is just some background research and work you need to do in order to get your product ready to be listed. First and foremost, of course, have some products ready, have some inventory to go. This will be really helpful because once you start selling online, if any buyers come across your product and they want to purchase it, it makes it very seamless for them to go ahead and immediately click on the buy button. Make sure you also click multiple product pictures. So for each product, you should have multiple photos of different angles, different shots ready. Do some market research around what other sellers are selling in the same category, what kind of products do they make, what makes your product truly stand out, and capitalize on that. In the same vein, write product descriptions that highlight the strength of your products, that explain what you're trying to have a good pricing strategy. So moving on, as you can see here, one of Etsy's buyer researches, buyer surveys demonstrated that these are sort of the top 3 or 4 metrics that influence purchase behavior by buyers. As you can see, the top one is quality of images, and that makes sense, right? I mean, that's the first thing they see when they come onto Etsy, when they're searching for something to purchase. However, also important influences are the cost of the item, the shipping cost, because pricing plays a major role. And the last one is reviews. Reviews is something we'll be touching upon on later sessions, but today we're going to be mainly talking about the first 3 and then a little bit more about what it takes to truly make the perfect listing. So getting into photography, you can see on the right here, this is what a buyer would see when they search for a product that they're interested in. As you can see, there are multiple sellers and types of things. However, there are only a few images or products that would catch your eye. What sets them apart? It's usually there is the product, the title itself, there is or a human element that this product being used and this is how it's being used. And it also captures the feeling of the product, you know, like why would someone in their life? So that's really what we would want your photography to capture. And today we're just going to be talking about how to list the product and how to like add photos to the product you're trying to list. However, the next session we're going to be doing is going to be focusing on photography alone, because it's such an important metric, important influencing factor in the decision making of buyers. Also, just to take a quick minute and talk about, you know, photography. It seems challenging, it seems intimidating, but there are a lot of hacks and tips and tricks that you can follow to click photos. You don't need a fancy studio, you don't need a lot, you don't need equipment. You've got your camera phone, and as you know, Indians are well versed in the process of jugaad. So as you can see here, someone's using the garage door desk and just placing the product here to showcase it in a nice aesthetic manner. Someone on the top has just put a wallpaper at the background and they've just displayed their product in different angles to showcase size and, you know, like just how it could be used, what is the product made for. So that's on, you know, product pictures. These are some examples of pictures that would really capture a buyer's attention. As to how, you know, you can upload these photos. So in your shop, once you go into stock your shop, into the stock your shop page, you'll be able to add a listing right from there. So as you can see here, this is your stock your shop page, which you can get to from your shop manager or dashboard. As soon as you click on the add a listing button, the page refreshes to where you can start adding your listing. The first section you see is the photography section, where you can upload multiple pictures of your product. And as you can see here, as you can see here, there are tips on what kind of photos well, and in the picture templates themselves, you can see it's a good idea to have different angles, show detailed shot, show a picture of the product being size and scale, the more information, the better, because this is really the only way the buyer is interacting with the product before making the purchase. The next topic is looking into the listing details. So once the buyer has seen the product on the search page, what's the next thing their eye goes to? It's the title. As you can see here, this is an example of a product title on Etsy. It's pretty clear. If I want to buy this, I know I'll be buying. Mostly buyers can just see the first few words of your listing title. So make sure you've got the most relevant information up front. Make it clear, make it descriptive, and make it as much in layman terms as you can, essentially. The maximum length for a title is 140 characters. It's a good idea to use different phrases in the title, because since Etsy is a global platform, to take advantage of that and make sure you're targeting the language or the terms that you're always thinking about from like what would they be searching for, what would they be requiring, if this is the product, how would they look for it? And then similarly, additionally, listing title is very important to be found in search. So it sort of acts as keywords for you on Etsy, where have listing titles, tags, attributions, and categories. We'll be going into each of them, but specifically for title. So it's important to use the right keywords that define the product. Moving on to categories. So categories help products on Etsy be classified, and especially if what they look. It's a good idea to make sure your product is specifically assigned as possible. More generic becomes for your buyers. So always think about what is your product at a very basic level. What function does it serve? And then try to classify it in the same manner. As you can see here, if you start typing the type of product that you have, different types of categories come up on the dashboard. So you can just pick from these, whichever one makes the most sense to you. These are like tags, so something that we'll talk about in the next slides, but attributes are defined and limited, and they depend on the category you choose. Looking at these are the attributes that come up for that specific product in that category. So you can set a size, you can set colors, you can set the clothing style. These things, again, just help buyers reach your product. What I would add here is that depending on the category, the attributes change. So if you would sell something that is of a different category, for example, jewelry would be like the kind of attributes you would see here would be around the type of gemstone you're using, the size of the ring, maybe the style of it. So it's always a good idea to use attributes where you can, but it's not being used for something where it doesn't really fit, because then again, you would not reach the rights. So as everyone can see here, this is the listing details page. This is where you talk a little more about what your listing's about. So in the title itself, you can add in multi-word phrases. As you can see, the different phrases we're adding here don't match. That's a good idea. Try not to repeat terms, because it makes it easier for your product to surface in different searches. I would also mention that it's a good idea to use sort of terms which would also work for international buyers, as it would also then help you target other markets or other buyers in other markets on Etsy. As you can see, we're setting up a category here. We went with, sorry, okay. Etsy is also showing you an auto-predicted option, just in case you've already set up certain products in your shop, which are similar products. And Right. Really sorry about this, everyone. I think we've just been having some issues today. Yeah, Radhika, you can just play it. Yeah, so you can also manually add a category here instead of typing it in. If you're not sure where your product falls into, it would allow you to kind of view and go through every single category and subcategory we offer and then save. As you can see, these are the attributes as I previously talked about. It's a good idea to use the relevant attributes, but you don't have to use all of them if they don't make sense for you. Variation is something we'll be talking about in the next few slides, but it essentially allows you to offer multiple styles of the same product in your shop and also link it to different images so that within one listing, you're actually showcasing multiple types of products. So for example, this one is a blue indigo shirt, but if you have the same shirt in different colors, you can add variations. Here, as you can see, we've got renewal options. And what that means is once you put up your listing on Etsy, it will automatically be renewed every time it gets sold, unless you pick the manual option. What that means is if you have a product that is already present in stock or wouldn't take you too long to create, it would be a good idea to set it on automatic. However, if it's a personalized product that takes some time to create and you might not want it to be listed on your shop for all time, or if it's a limited edition item, then it's a good idea to choose the manual option so that it gets taken off your shop as soon as it sells. Okay, now talking about the product description. So description is very important, and think of it like an inverted pyramid. Make sure you've got the most essential information up front, right at the top, because that's what the buyer will pay attention to first. This could mean, what is the product? What is it made of? What is the size of it? What does it look like? It might seem really obvious to you, or it might be obvious from pictures, but it's still a great idea to give as much information as possible. You can add any care instructions that might be involved. As you move towards the end of the description, it's a good idea to put in a brand story, talk about the inspiration for the product, create that personal connection really. And you can also add in a hyperlink at the bottom, which also leads the buyer to your shop. So in case they like the product, but they're not looking for exactly that, they can always go and check out your shop for something else. Next slide, please, Radhika. So as you can see here, we'll be entering a product description, and this is sort of an example of how we're describing the product. Another important thing to note is that while the description may not be used for the Etsy search engine, however, external search engines such as Google would definitely use it. So it's a good idea to have some keywords in this as well, because if someone's looking for something on Google, your Etsy product listing or shop could also surface, just depending on the keywords you're using and if they're relevant to the actual product. To Darshita's question on whether we can add more than 10 images, not at the moment, Darshita. 10 images is the max we have. However, you can also add a listing video, which allows you to then showcase the product in a far more detailed manner. As you can see in the description here, we've got the care instructions, we've got the size, we're offering customization, so we've got a point about that. It's also a good idea to add a disclaimer as we have at the bottom here, where we're setting the right expectations for the buyer. So it's just always great to give more information than needed almost, because it would mean that the buyer is on the same page as you, they have the right expectations when the product reaches them. You can also add production partners if there is anyone who's helping you with the manufacturing of the product or the final creation of it. Sections are also a helpful feature in your shop, which allow you to classify the different types of products you might have. So for example, as a clothing seller, if you're selling shirts, dresses, skirts, you can create different sections so that people can go through and navigate the shop in a far easier manner, and they can find the product that they're looking for within your shop in a easier manner. Yeah, please keep playing, Radhika. Thank you. So we'll be talking about titles next. Sorry, tags next. So tags are incredibly important in getting you found. Tags are basically what help you come up on search other than titles, and you get up to 13 tags. Each tag is not, I mean, it's not, you can use more than one word. So it's always recommended to use multi-word, multi-phrase tags. And it's better to not repeat. In fact, your categories and attributions would have already been counted in keywords. So you don't even have to repeat the same words from there. And as you can see on the left, they're using multiple words. Ceramic bowl will be counted as also ceramic and bowl as different words in the search engine. So it's a better idea to have it in the same tag and use up your tags in the most optimum way possible. As you can see on the right, single words are not great because it would just not allow you to get the best use out of your tags. You also don't need to worry about using plurals because that's something that Etsy search engine can take care of. And yes, try to avoid repetition. Come up with different phrases that you feel your buyers would use while searching for the product. Think of occasions they might need it for, use cases, who would be your target buyers? Is it a gifting item? So, it doesn't just have to be descriptive of the product, but also what they can do with it. Next slide, please, Radhika. So as you can see here, we're just showing you how it looks like when you're trying to add tags. Once you've typed in the phrase that you want, you just click on add and it comes up as a tag. As you can see, it's not always descriptive, so easy to wear, comfortable. These are also words people would use to search for the product, even if it might not be descriptive of the actual product itself. Summer wear, so is it a seasonal product or not? Just anything you feel your buyers typically associate with your product or brand. Sustainability, is it a sustainable product? Is it a specific type of item, niche item, vintage item, etc.? It's always recommended to use all 13 tags. It just really boosts your chances of getting found online on Etsy. You can also talk about the materials that are used in the product. This is optional as well. However, they also kind of work to help you get found, as there might be people looking for a specific type of product made with a specific material. So just helps to give more information to the buyer, really. Yeah. So now we're on to pricing. So pricing, as you saw, is the second most important consideration for buyers when making a purchase. Therefore, it is very important to price your product in the right manner. A rule of thumb could be to think about your overheads, your production costs, and your profit, and make sure that the price you set cover all three. Make sure you're doing some research into the market to see what other similar products are being priced at, so you can make sure that you understand the buyer you're looking at, what are their expectations, current expectations in the market, and pricing it accordingly. Additionally, you can also add in delivery costs to the pricing if you're wanting to offer free delivery. Free delivery also has shown to be extremely helpful in helping convert buyers at the time of checkout. So it's always recommended and encouraged, and it also helps you get priority placement. However, if you do offer free delivery, make sure to take the cost into your pricing itself. As you can see on the right as well, quantity and SKUs. So I'll just take a quick second to talk about them. Quantity here just means that if you have a certain type of product in a greater quantity than one, it might be a good idea to mention that number here, just so that your Etsy shop doesn't run out of the product before you actually run out of the product. SKUs are completely optional. You don't really need to have anything here. It's not shown to the buyers. It's just there for your internal tracking and organization of your inventory. Yeah, Radhika, next slide, please. Yeah, so here you can see the pricing section and quantity section. For this shirt, we've chosen to enter $35. And that's how many of these shirts I have in my inventory. So I've put up 5. Great. So variations. So we kind of briefly mentioned this earlier in the session. Variations really are helpful in case you have multiple types of the same product. They're also very customizable. You can offer all sorts of variations and even create your own custom variations. What this means is, as I said earlier, that if I'm offering a cotton t-shirt, but I have it in different prints, I can create a variation called print and mention each of the different style that is available. I can link my specific variation with a specific picture so that if my buyer chooses to buy like a block print indigo shirt, then that's the one that would show up in the actual listing photo. Radhika, if you go on to the next slide, we'll be having we'll show you how this works. But essentially, as you can see here, I'm offering 2 variations here, which are around colors and whether the product has pockets or not. These are the 3 colors I offer in my product, and they can choose to have pockets or not. And then I would make a custom product for them and build it into the final item. Next slide, please, Radhika. Also, personalization is a very unique thing to Etsy that we can offer. So here, essentially, this is optional completely, and this is only important if the product you're offering has any sort of personalization. But for example, you're selling unstitched fabric and you are offering to stitch it for them. So you can switch the personalization option on, and you can set an instruction here asking for the details you might need, possibly size, dimensions. Potentially, if you're monogramming or embroidering anything and you want a message from the person, you can you can open the personalization option. This holds true not just for clothing, but anything. If it's a gifting item, you can offer personalization. So it's a really helpful tool for you to connect and communicate with your buyer to really give them the best experience possible. Radhika, next slide, please. So here we'll just go through like how can you actually create a variation, and how do you switch on personalization? So these are existing variations that are already present. So the primary color, and then the different types of colors you can offer. You can also create a custom variation. You can also remove any of these options at any point of time. So if you've already sold out of them, and you can create that within the variation as well. You can offer different, as you can see on the left, you can set different prices for each variation. You can set different quantities for each variation. So you can really control everything about how this appears on your Etsy shop. The personalization section is right under. All you have to do is switch it on, and then enter a message so that the buyer knows what to do. And you can make it mandatory or optional. So for example, if you're selling a product that's completely personalized and customizable, and you need some information to, in order to create the product, then you can make personalization mandatory so that when they purchase it, they have to give you the right information in order for you to make the product. Over here, we're offering monogramming. And this is on the right, as you can see, this is what your buyer will see. I hope everyone can hear me fine. If you can't, just message on the chat. Now we're on to shipping. Shipping is incredibly important, as there are 2 parts to shipping. So one would be your processing time that you would be setting, and then the second would be the shipping time. Make sure you're working with the right delivery partners and identifying the right delivery partners who give you the best costs, the best rates, and the best timelines to ship your specific product. For each category and for each type of product, there are different rules. So we really advise you to kind of speak to the relevant shipping company to find out the rules around your product, your category. Make sure you're providing clear policies around the same so that the buyer knows what to expect, and you get a great review at the end of it. You can also make shipping free, as I mentioned, by putting postage price in the product price. And shipping profiles, that's something I'm going to talk about in the next slide. But shipping profiles are really great, because if you're looking to sell your product to a specific country, for example, US, the timelines to send a product to the US versus Australia would be different. So you might want to set different shipping profiles depending on what market you're looking to target. And you can even exclude certain markets if that's not your target audience, by not directing it to them. So as you can see here, on the top, you can see it says delivery options shirts. That's a shipping profile. So every product listing that you put up, you have to enter in delivery information for it. However, if you are selling the same type of product, instead of entering the same information multiple times, you can just create a delivery profile, a shipping profile, which has been done on this shop. Therefore, you can see there's already a shipping profile for shirts where there is no shipping free charged, and there's a 2-day processing time, which means within 2 days, I'm ready to ship the product, and it'll be on the way to the buyer. However, if you're uploading an entirely new product listing, you can even create custom delivery. You can enter custom delivery options. So as you can see here, you set the country of origin, which would be India. You set the processing time, which is how long does it take you to make this, and you can set processing time up to 10 weeks. So for example, if you're creating a piece of furniture, or you're creating a home decor item, which has to be made from scratch depending on their personalization. If you're creating a personal portrait, a gifting item, you can set processing time according to that. However, keep in mind what occasion the product is being used for, as buyers are likely to purchase items that dispatch quickly, especially for specific occasions. So for example, around Christmas, if you have shorter processing times, there is a likelihood that buyers are going to convert faster. Yes, next slide, Radhika. So here is where you can set shipping for different locations. So as you can see, for India, you can set your own delivery time depending on the shipping that would happen. However, currently, we strongly encourage our sellers to sell internationally and sell to other markets, because payment options in India are limited. So right now, we're very much an international facing business from India. You can set specific locations here and start off by targeting a few international markets before expanding to the entire global audience. And you can do that by adding a location right at the bottom. When you click on add a location, it would show up in the exact same manner. You can add delivery time and the cost that it would that you would incur for the delivery. And if you want to offer free delivery, then just make sure you're building the price into the product cost. Next slide, please, Radhika. Yeah. So you can also offer delivery upgrades. So for example, if you want to offer fast shipping, and that might cost a little more, once you select delivery upgrade, it would actually allow you to enter a higher cost just for the buyer to upgrade to a faster shipping option. And then once you've done entering your custom details for shipping, you can actually save as a delivery profile. So if you have multiple such products that you're going to be listing in the future, you should just save it as a delivery profile, and then you can apply it to every similar product when you list the same. And at the bottom, you can even see what the calculator would look like. So you can see what the destination is, and then what would be the price of shipping there, depending on the cost options you've already set here. So that would show you what your buyer would see when they are about to check out. Next slide, Radhika. So this one would just show you what that looks like in the shop manager in the delivery options. How do you go about setting the right options? As you can see, you get different types of processing times. Right at the bottom, there is custom processing time if you want to increase it to up to 10 weeks. You can set delivery time for India, free delivery. You can set a fixed price and enter X amount that you would be charging per item. This is where your shipping price would come from in the checkout page. And you can also, so for example, if someone's purchasing more than one product of the same item, so more than one quantity, you can add additional costs just for that, which might be at a smaller rate than the actual shipping cost. Everywhere else as well, you just go ahead and enter the delivery time. You feel that it might be longer for the product to get delivered outside of India, and therefore you can set the time accordingly. So here, if you're targeting a specific market, any buyer from that market would only see the delivery time for their market and not for India or everywhere else. As I spoke about, this is how you can offer delivery upgrades. You can create an express shipping profile and put in the extra fee that might be incurred if you were to ship it at an express service class. This is how you can set profile, and then in the future, it's just present for you to pick when you're uploading a similar product. So I hope that kind of explains how the delivery side of things work. Now we're at the end of the session, so I'm just going to talk about the sample listing. If you've gotten everything sort of in the right place, this is what a sample listing would look like. As you can see, this is one of our great sellers, Ninoshka India, and they sell really nice clothing. So this is one of their listings. As you can see, they have put up multiple types of images to showcase what the product looks like to the buyer. They've got a really good title, which is very explanatory. They're offering variations in the sizing that is there for this product. Gift wrapping is available, as you can see. So if I as a seller want to purchase with someone else, I can choose the gift wrapping option. At the bottom, you can see that it's handmade. You can see what materials are being used to make this. So as a buyer, I really know a lot about this product just by looking at this little section. However, so next slide, Radhika. I can also read a little bit about the product, the kind of sizing. If they're offering a small, medium, large size, what does that mean in terms of dimensions? What are the different options in like the fabric, the sleeve, all of those things? I can also see the delivery and return policies for this shop. If I want to purchase this, how long would it take for me to get this product? It's a free delivery, so that looks good. If I want to see any shop policies around returns, exchanges, all of those things, I can view them all here. So as a buyer, it gives me a lot of confidence in what I'm looking to purchase. Next slide, Radhika. And this is the last slide. So as you can see here, you can see all the tags that Ninoshka India has used for this specific product. And they've used up almost all of their tags. And this would just make sure that they're getting found in the right searches, in the right kind of, by the right kind of buyers. So always keep thinking about who your target audience is, what are they looking for while setting these tags for yourself. And that's all for creating the perfect listing today. Any questions? I think, and then back to you, Radhika, to transition over to the question and answer session for today.
Oh, thanks a lot, Aradhana. I think that was very, very informative. And I'm sure the audience really understood all the start to end process of adding the listings. And it was great to show how the back end of an Etsy shop manager looks like. So whenever they're actually going ahead and setting their Etsy shop, everything looks more familiar, and it's not something that they're seeing for the first time, and they know which information goes where. So thanks a lot for that wonderful detailed presentation.
I just really want to apologize for the internet issues we faced today. I'm really sorry. I hope everyone still was able to understand everything. And if you have questions, we're happy to take them now. Thank you.
Of course. So I'll just take a quick moment to just go through the chat box and see if there are any questions related to this. And please feel free to also glance through the chat box in case you find anything. Something that I see here. Okay, so there is a question by Anam, and she's asking if we have paintings which are going to be sold as soft copies as well as printouts and original paintings too, how should we list these? So, Anushka, would you help us in answering this question?
Yes, sure. Digital and you're talking about the soft copies. So in that case, we cannot create a physical and digital listing together. We need to do it separately. But yeah, you can. You have to, like the as the question mentioned by one of our seller, that three things he's mentioning: printouts, soft copies, and the original painting. So printouts and original painting can be listed in a single listing. They can create a variation that if they need a printout or if they need a like original painting, and they can change the prices accordingly, because we have an option to change the price for every variation. Now, if we talk about the soft copies, they have to create a separate listing, because in that case we need to choose digital in case of in the type section instead of physical, and in that case the delivery option will not be there. You have to upload the files which they will like download once they purchase the item. So they have to create two listings for that.
Okay, great. Another question is also, if in case anybody missed out the starting bit of the session, this session is also going live on Facebook while it's happening here on Zoom. So feel free to go to our Facebook page, Etsy India, and you will be able to see this whole session from the beginning. Okay, so again, moving on to some other questions that people have been asking is to how there's actually a question in the Google form where people had registered by Anushka that is if there is any way to make the content which goes in the titles and the tag more approachable for the audience and something that people can understand. So how do we find that balance of putting in the right content?
So first of all, let's just talk about the title first. So title is the first line which the buyer will read about your products after seeing the picture. So in title, you have to mention. We cannot be more descriptive in the title. It look clumsy. So you need to use the specific keywords which can easily be typed by the buyer when they search a product. So for example, if you are listing a painting, so instead of writing a name of a painting at the initial like words of the title, it is always recommended to use a friendly keywords at the initial like few keywords of the title, because it is more easy for the buyer to search them. So they can write instead of writing a name of the painting, they can write Indian god Radha Krishna painting on canvas for home decor. So because they can easily search Indian god painting, they can search Radha Krishna painting, but if you will specifically give a single word keyword, it will become more typical for them to search your product. So title should be a single line, a small description about the painting, about the primary picture. So if somebody is reading a title and if they are also looking at the picture, they can easily understand the title in a more better way. So if it's a Radha Krishna painting, they can write Indian handmade Radha Krishna painting on canvas for home decor. So they know it's a Radha Krishna painting, it's an Indian god painting, and it's a acrylic painting. They can mention acrylic also, acrylic oil, whatever they are using. So this is about the title. It should be simple to understand for the buyer, so that they can easily understand about the product. Secondly, if we talk about the tags, tags need to be very specific. You need to think as a buyer while uploading a listing that if you are a buyer and if you want to purchase a type of product, what keywords you can type as a buyer, because I think you are making this product, so you are in contact with many buyers offline also who are interested to purchase your products, and you know that what buyers look if they are searching for your products. So you can type such keywords which are more easy to type for the buyers, like you can type acrylic painting, painting on canvas, canvas painting. So instead of writing a single keyword like painting and canvas separately, you can make it a single, like make it a specific keyword by mentioning both together: canvas painting, acrylic painting, oil painting. So similarly, it is more easy for the buyer to search it, because if somebody is typing only painting over there, maybe they want to purchase something which is oil and you are selling acrylic. So if you will be more specific, there are chances that you will get more genuine buyers.
Correct. Thanks a lot, Anushka. Just addition to this particular question, there are a few people asking, is it good to add commas in the titles? Does that help, or is it necessary or not?
No, it's not necessary. It's just that as in the initial level, I mentioned that you can add more keywords to your title. So to separate two keywords, you can add comma. So it's not much. There is no such requirement to add a comma. You can just we are using it to differentiate two words.
Okay, sure. So there are a few questions related to shipping on Etsy. So is there any particular solution that Etsy provides for shipping?
So as of now, as Etsy is not restricting any buyers or sorry sellers to opt for any particular shipping company. You are free. You are completely free to decide your own shipping agents. Even you can choose more than one shipping agents on your own. So there is no such recommended shipping company by Etsy. You can use anything whichever is suitable to you and whichever is easily available at your location. Now, if I talk about the Etsy integrated partner, so recently we have integrated with one shipping partner named as Yakit, and Yakit is also offering the international shipping services. So, if somebody want to register for Yakit, we have a team who is handling the queries of Yakit. So you can fill a form which will be there on the chat box, and the concerned person will get in touch with you for setting up a Yakit account. But at last, it is not compulsory. It's up to the seller whether they want to use Yakit or not, and if they want to see the prices and everything, they can go and easily sign up for Yakit. There is no cost involved, so you can check the prices according to your parcel, and then you can decide which company you want to choose.
Okay, perfect. Another question is related to the payments. So a lot of people are asking, is there a requirement of a GST number for running an Etsy shop? Or so how does the payment work? And a little about PayPal as well.
Okay, so first of all, GST is not compulsory because it is completely optional because Etsy is a handmade portal, and we have a lot of sellers who have just started their business or who are in hobby artists. So we are not restricting any seller to come up on Etsy. There is no requirement of GST. It's completely optional. Yeah, in future, if you think that you have like earned a lot and you want to issue a GST, you can add later on also. And if you talk about PayPal, on Etsy, you will receive the payments through PayPal. And PayPal is a secured gateway. And many buyers also trust PayPal as for the payments. So for PayPal, you need to have a business PayPal account. And let me just quickly give you the updates that what things you need for making a PayPal account. So you need a PAN card. You need a bank account details in which you need IFSC code and account number. That's it. So once you create a PayPal account, you have to link your bank account to that. And after adding a bank account, once you will receive the payment first, PayPal will receive the payment, and PayPal then convert that currency into your primary currency, whatever primary currency you will choose while opening a PayPal account. Because we are Indians, so obviously we need to choose INR because we need money in INR. So you need to choose a primary currency as INR while creating a PayPal account. And after that, PayPal duty is to convert that amount, whichever amount is coming to your PayPal account, and then they'll convert it into INR and transfer to the bank account whichever is linked to PayPal.
Thanks a lot. One last question because we're running out of time. There is a question by Sneha who's asking about Etsy's transaction fees and where are all the places that a person needs to pay to the platform.
Okay, so about the commercials, there are two types of charges of Etsy. One is the listing fee and another is the transaction fee. So listing fee is 20 cents for each product, and that each listing has a shelf life of 4 months. So once you publish a listing, you have to pay 20 cents to Etsy, and that listing will be live for the next 4 months. So actually you are paying 20 cents for 4 months. And about the transaction fee is 5%, which you need to pay only after getting a sale. And now about the billing process, you don't have to pay immediately. You'll get a bill on the 1st of next month. Whenever you like do a listing or whenever you generate a sale, Etsy will calculate the total bill of that month and will give you will generate a bill on the 1st of next month. So for March, they'll generate a bill on 1st of April, which you need to pay within 15 days manually from your debit or credit card. Now, if we talk about the PayPal, there is a third-party charges also. Obviously, you need to pay shipping as well as the PayPal charges. So PayPal also charge some commission for converting your currency. that is between 3 to 8%. It is fluctuating depending on the transaction. If you want to be, if you want more clarity to that, that how they are charging, you can read on PayPal website. It is clearly mentioned at how they are charging on the, because they kept on changing their transactions and the commission rates, because depending on the dollar rates. So this is about the charges of Etsy. And as I've already mentioned, we're offering 30 listing free to our new sellers. So we have a team who is helping the sellers not only till the shop opening, even after you open the shop. If you need any help, you can also reach out to us, and we are happy to help you. You can fill a form in the chat box if you want to open a new shop. We have our experienced agents who are helping the sellers, and then they will help you to set up your Etsy shop, and you'll get your answers more quickly.
Also, just to add, if you've missed any of the links that we sent in the chat box, we'll also have a form that will come out after this session is over. So you can fill out that form and just mention what support you need, and someone will get in touch with you to help you.
Exactly. Thanks a lot, Anushka. Before we end the session, one last question for Aradhana is that because she's also not only our in-house expert on Etsy, but also an Etsy seller. So just one thing that, while you started your Etsy shop, how did you actually go ahead and figure out the titles and tags while being a new seller?
Oh, great question. Thanks for that, Radhika. So, and this is something I would recommend to everyone. It's a lot of trial and error. So when you start off, you want to try out different titles, different tags. I think if you have different products which are in the same category, try different titles for each of them, try different keywords. You will have an area in your dashboard which shows you analytics. So go and see which products are getting the most views and why are they getting the most views, which titles, which words are working out for you. We'll be doing a more detailed session on this, but just, as a brief, like make sure you're looking at the numbers that your dashboard is showing you and try to understand what it's telling you. Like if, specific product is getting more views, try the same keywords for another product. Or if a product is getting a lot of views, but not a conversion, can you improve your images? Can you improve your pricing? Like what can you do? What can you do to make it work? And keep trying out different things. I think every month or two, refresh your shop a little bit, maybe put in a different language, explain something else. And I think you'll hit on the right formula here in that way. I think everyone has their own secret formula. So I don't think there's one solution that works for everyone, but this is the way to probably get to it, I think. Thank you.
With that, I would like to thank each and every one of you for being part of this session. I think these were wonderful queries and we loved answering each of them. And thank you for being part of Small Talk with the Etsy Collective's Shop Talk session. We have a lot more in store for you. Do tell us how you liked the session in the feedback form that you will receive just after ending this session. For more queries, feel free to reach out at tara@etsy.com and one of our executives will get back to you with the answer to your queries. If you haven't already, do sign up for the upcoming sessions as well. The next session is on 17th April, which is on turning your conscious clothing brand into a successful Etsy shop, where Etsy seller will be sharing her journey of her how she started her brand. So make sure you sign up for that session as well. And in continuation to today's Shop Talk session, we have a session about basics on product photography that will really help you boost your sales up for Etsy. Do check out our social media handles for more updates and upcoming sessions. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks a lot, Anushka. Thanks a lot, Aradhana, for being such wonderful hosts for today's session. And thank you, everyone, for joining in. Have a great weekend ahead.